Level 1. Minimum security. You wake up on a lumpy mattress, sunlight dripping through plastic blinds. The room smells like instant coffee and detergent. Concrete floors, no bars, just rows of metal bunks separated by faded curtains. You swing your legs down, careful not to bump your neighbor's storage bin. Noise is constant. Laughter, radios, the low hum of men trying to keep busy. You have one job: stay invisible. You fold your sheet, line up for head count, and nod at the guard, half listening to a baseball game. Here, you wear khaki. No jumpsuits. You walk the cracked paths of what used to be a college campus. White brick buildings, empty lecture halls now repurposed as workshops. You clean classrooms for 50 cents an hour. Sometimes you paint fences. Sometimes you mop floors. If you do your job, nobody bothers you. If you don't, you lose privileges. You don't forget again. Meals are a brown tray, a scoop of eggs that could be powder or paste. You sit at the same table every day next to an accountant from Boston and a guy who once drove for a congressman. Your cellmate doesn't ask what you did. You don't ask him either. That's how you survive. There are no fences here, just a painted line at the edge of the yard. One step across and you're gone, but everyone knows that's when people get sloppy. That's when they get caught. You keep your head down, follow the routine. But word spreads fast. You hear about a transfer list and your name is on it. Level 2 is coming. Level 2. Low security. You feel it the minute you step off the bus. 2 rows of razor wire fences slice the sky. The air smells sharper like bleach and cold metal. Uniforms now, everything stitched with your name and number. Guards stand at every corner. Their eyes never leave you. Every step feels watched. You shuffle into a dorm, no more curtains, just chest-high cubicles. Corridors echo with boots and the drag of plastic laundry bins. The guy in the bunk next to yours snores like an engine. You sleep light. Every 2 hours, a flashlight beam crawls across your face. Count, count, count. If you miss one, they lock down the whole block. You don't forget again. Meals are faster. Trays slap down, no time to talk. You notice the food is colder, saltier. In the yard, the fences always seem closer than before. Shadows feel longer. You have one job. Keep your schedule tight. Work, class, back to your cube. You watch the clock, wait for the hourly callouts. If you're late by a minute, you lose your job. If you mouth off, you lose your rec time. Slip up, and the rumor mill chews you up. You sign up for GED classes just to get out of the dorm. You fold towels in the laundry. Eyes sting from bleach. You stay quiet, but now you see who runs the phones, who can get what. Everyone hustles for something. Nobody cares why you're here. But now you're a target. Wrong word, wrong look, and someone's watching you. The cycle tightens. Level 3. Medium security. You trade the dorm for a cell. Concrete walls and a steel door that slams shut behind you. The window is a slit, too narrow for sunlight, just enough for the scream of sirens to slip in. Every inch of your space is bolted down. The mattress is thinner, the blanket scratchier. At night, you count the seconds between distant shouts and the rattle of keys. Every movement is scheduled. You stand by your door at 6 a.m. sharp, listening for the electric buzz that means it's unlocked. You walk single file to breakfast, eyes down. Inmates line up in orange, all faces blurred by routine and suspicion. Guards call your number. You recite it until it echoes in your head. Head counts come 6 times a day. If someone's missing, they search every cell. You hear boots pounding past, radios crackling, doors banging. Once a guy refuses a strip search, they drag him out. The rest of you hold your breath, frozen in place. You learn not to look, not to ask. Work means scrubbing toilets with watered-down bleach or cleaning the yard under watchful eyes and towers. One wrong step and you're cuffed. Your world shrinks to this block, this schedule. Rec time is 45 minutes in a fenced cage. The basketball is flat, the weights rusted. You keep your back to the fence. Every day the rules multiply. You memorize them one by one, because one slip means the whole. Your cellmate is on edge. Everyone is. You hear stories about the next level. Walls higher, rules tighter, faces harder. You don't sleep easy anymore. And then one morning, your name echoes on the loudspeaker. Another transfer. Level 4. High security. They take your shoelaces and your belt as soon as you step off the bus. You walk chained to 5 men you've never met, shuffling into a building that smells like sweat and bleach. The walls stretch up, thick and gray, topped by coils of razor wire that glitter cold in the morning sun. Watchtowers track you, rifles aimed, motionless. You pass through metal detectors, pat-downs, body scans. Your new cell is a box behind a solid steel door with a slot for food. One roommate if you're lucky. Sometimes you're alone. The walls close in so tight you hear your own heartbeat. The toilet hisses in the dark. Your blanket is stamped with your number, stiff from too many washes. Every night the lights flicker on for count. Every hour a guard's shadow slides under your door. Movement means a line of bodies, hands behind backs, escorted by 3 guards. You're told when to eat, when to shower, when to breathe. Rec time means a cage inside the fence. Maybe an hour, maybe less if someone messes up. You watch the sky through steel mesh, listen for trouble. Someone always finds it. Conversations drop to whispers. You trust nobody. Deals happen in eye contact and coded knocks. The food is barely food. The water tastes like rust. You dream of silence, but there's never any. You hear screaming from solitary every night. You live in a golden cage. The rules never end. The tension sharpens your senses until everything feels like a threat. That's when people get sloppy. That's when they get caught. And one morning, the warden calls your name again. Your world is about to shrink all the way down. Level 5, maximum security. You step off the transport and the silence hits first. It is heavy, absolute, broken only by the whir of cameras sweeping every inch of the yard. The walls are pure concrete, 30 feet high. The fences bristle with razor wire and sensors blink red at every corner. A guard with mirrored sunglasses waits, unmoving. Here they do not shout. They do not need to. Your wrists are chained to your waist, your ankles drag. Inside, the lights are harsh and white, buzzing day and night. You count your steps because that is all you are allowed to do. There is no mess hall, no yard. See, meals slide through a slot in your door, bland and lukewarm 3 times a day, always exactly on schedule. Your cell is the world. 10 feet long, 6 feet wide, concrete everywhere. A cot, a metal sink, a toilet bolted to the floor. No windows. Only a thin slot to the empty hallway where shadows drift past but never faces. You spend 23 hours a day in that box. 1 hour alone in a cage the size of a parking space, ringed by more concrete, sky glimpsed through steel mesh. Every sound is magnified, the hum of fluorescent bulbs, the drip of water, your own heartbeat echoing off the walls. Days blur into nights, time crawls. Letters from your family arrive, censored and months late, every word blacked out except "we miss you." You write back, but you know nobody expects answers anymore. There is no trust, no alliances. Every movement is watched, every word recorded. They say even the air here is monitored. You learn to speak without speaking, to count breath, to shrink your hopes down to nothing. If you break a rule, there is only solitary. And you hear those screams through the vents every night, colder and more desperate than anything you remember from the last level. You live for small mercies, a book, a pencil, an hour of stale air. Sometimes you remember your first night in the dorm, back at minimum. How you thought you'd hit bottom then. You know better now, but some people go deeper. Some people disappear completely. The next time your door buzzes open, you know where you're going. Level 6, the end of the line. Level 6, Supermax. You shuffle in shackles down a silent hall, flanked by guards in black body armor. No words, no eye contact, just the click of your cuffs and the buzz of the motion sensor overhead. This building has no windows. The air feels thick, recycled, like you're breathing inside a vault. Your new cell is a concrete tomb. 7 steps from wall to wall, barely enough room to turn around. The door is solid steel, broken only by a tiny slot at ankle height. They slide in food, mail, instructions through that slit. You never see a hand, never hear a voice. Cameras stare from every corner, their red lights always burning. The lights never fully turn off. Your world is fluorescent white, 24 hours a day. Sometimes you wake not knowing if it's night or morning. The clock on the wall is bolted behind plastic. The second hand never seems to move. You have no cellmate, no neighbors. For 23 hours a day, there is only you, the walls, and a mattress that feels like punishment. 1 hour, they lead you out, wrists and ankles chained, guards at your back, to a bare concrete pen. No sky, just a rectangle of grating overhead. Rain falls in silver lines. You want to feel it on your skin, but you can't. The cage is still a cage. You forget the sound of laughter. You forget your own face. You memorize every crack in the wall, every pulse in the air vent. Time becomes a rumor. Sometimes your mind drifts back to that first level. The freedom, the noise, the sun. You'd give anything for that now, but this is where the cycle leads, the end nobody believes will happen to them. You live in a golden cage, but here the gold flakes away, leaving only stone and silence. Nobody asks where the money came from. Nobody asks at all. The lesson settles in, slow and heavy. Every shortcut, every time you thought you were smarter than the system, it all led here. The cycle never ends. Not unless you break it yourself. And in Supermax, the only thing left to break is you.